I'm Lori Leiterbright. I am the associate pastor at First Presbyterian Church in Neenah, Wisconsin. I am a writer and a activist and a community member and a mother and a wife, and I live on a small farm where we have goats and chickens and whatnot, and I am really excited to be with you all and to be working together as we explore what it means to cross borders together. For the third aspect, we looked at challenging exclusion and picked kind of a fun one for that. There's lots of examples throughout Scripture of Jesus challenging exclusion. And this is the story of the woman in Bethany, where Jesus knows what's coming for him, knows he's nearing the end of his earthly journey, and gathers with some friends at Simon the leper's house. And this woman breaks an alabaster jar of wildly expensive perfume and uses it and her hair to wash his feet. And the disciples are really ticked off because that's a huge waste of money. And that money could be used to help so many people. It's one of those instances where I find myself very much, I get it. I'm with the disciples on this one. I am a little flabbergasted at the way Jesus responds to her and to them. And isn't the point of this whole thing that we're supposed to be helping the poor, and there's a right way to do this? And what Jesus does in this scripture is cause us to pause and think of all the ways we tell people they're not allowed to love him, and all the ways that we, in our own communities and our own churches, set up ways of being and ways of worshiping that determine who and when and how someone can express their love and their worship of Christ. And that's not a particularly comfortable thing to think about. We do things the way we do them because we think it's the best way to do them. We tend to be a fairly careful people in church and do things with a lot of care and thought. So the idea that we would be excluding anyone can be a painful one to reckon with. And yet what we see in this story is Jesus pushing on those borders, pushing on us to think through, who have we said can't worship here by virtue of how we have arranged our sanctuary? Who and how are we limiting the expressions of love to God because we hate the screen up in worship, and that screen is just distracting, even if it means that someone with some visual impairment can participate in worship in a way they couldn't before. That the music is way too loud. And yet for someone with a hearing impairment, that's exactly how loud the music needs to be. Or that prayer time might include children crying out or adults crying out, that we have all these limitations set on what is the right way to express love. And what I think the challenge here in this text and the necessary challenge in crossing borders is to challenge that sense of exclusion in the ways we practice our faith.